Hi, this is Phoebe Massage Salon. How can I help you today? Okay, perfect. Let me check the system really quick. Let me look at this computer over here. And what was your name again? Okay. Okay, perfect. I have you for a scalp massage. Is that correct? Okay, awesome. Let me go ahead and get you checked in. Why don't you go ahead and have a seat right behind you there, and then I'll go ahead and start giving the scalp massage. Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and just take a look kind of at your scalp a little bit. Are you noticing, I'm just looking through your hair, not really massaging, are you kind of noticing any, like itchiness, irritation, dryness, anything like that? Okay, so you are, it sounds like having some kind of dryness sometimes. Okay, and do you use conditioner, anything like that? Sometimes, okay. So I know that sometimes, depending on how thick your hair is or the length, sometimes conditioner can be work well or not work well, and depending on the brand you use. So what we can do for you today is I can put some oil in your scalp to kind of moisturize and kind of hydrate it, and then I can give you like an actual kind of like full scalp massage. Would that be okay with you today? Awesome. Okay, perfect. Just give me a second to go get my materials, and I'll be right back. All right, perfect. So sorry about the train in the background. I know we're right next to the railroad tracks here at Phoebe Massage Salon, so I do apologize for that. But so I'm gonna go ahead and take some oil, and I am going to put it all over. I'm gonna kind of like, let me just close the cap there. I'm gonna kind of like massage it into your scalp first. All right, and it looks like I'm really seeing that behind your ears, especially are pretty dry, but let me get the top there. All right. Okay, so now that it's in your scalp, I'm going to let it sit for a second while I kind of explain to you what I'm going to do. So basically what I'm going to do is, while that oil is in your scalp, massaging it in will kind of rehydrate some of those areas that you've been experiencing some dryness and irritation. Like I said, particularly I was seeing behind your ears. Sometimes it can be a little bit more difficult to kind of wash behind that area, especially if you have thicker hair. Such as myself, especially when you need a lot more shampoo and a lot more conditioner to kind of break and clarify all those areas to really make sure that you're getting it clean. So let me take a look. Okay. Let me check here. All right. I do think that the oil is ready. So what I'm going to do is I am going to get a little bit closer to you, just so I can like really kind of massage, and it's only going to take about a minute or so to really get it like fully in, but just looking at your hair, I think the oil kind of already made it a little less red too, so that's kind of nice. But all right, so are you ready for us to begin? Okay, awesome. All right, so I'm going to start on this side first, and then I'm going to move to this side, okay? And then I'll kind of finish like kind of on the top of your scalp, okay? Awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. All right, and I'm going to kind of start a little slow and then kind of ramp up, okay? Just I don't want to like over irritate your scalp, but I do want to make sure that it gets hydrated. So let's get in there a little bit more aggressive. All right, and behind the ears. All right, and just a little bit more on this side. Okay, All right, we're gonna go ahead and move over to this side now. Again, I'm gonna be doing the same thing, starting a little bit slow and then ramping up a little bit more, okay? It's already looking so much better. So first, I'm just gonna go a little bit slow behind your ears. Right, a little bit above. All right, and now I'm gonna go a little bit more aggressive, okay? Okay, behind your ears again. Okay. Perfect. All right, so the last thing that we are going to do is I'm going to, these sides are all perfect. So I'm just gonna kind of end on the very top. And that's sometimes where we carry the most dryness and irritation, because we usually have a part and that is facing the sun all day or is getting hit with the elements, whereas the rest of our scalp is kind of covered. So let's go ahead and end with the very top again. Gonna kind of start a little slower, just kind of feel around. Oh, did that hurt you? Okay, just wanted to make sure. Okay, all right, and then we're gonna kind of get a little more aggressive here, let me get the front. You have really pretty bright bangs, those are really cute. And a little bit back more in the back of your head, towards the crown. All right, and then I'm just gonna kind of finish with an all over, just kind of making sure that we got all of it in the front, and then a little more in the back. All right. Okay, awesome. Well, it looks fantastic. I would say to kind of leave it in, that oil in your hair, for another half hour or so. So however long it kind of takes you to drive home, and then get home and get settled. Then I would take a shower and kind of wash some of that oil off with a very light shampoo. Very light. You don't want something that's going to strip that oil out that we just did, okay? Awesome. Well, thanks so much for visiting Phoebe Massage Salon, and feel free to come back. I would say, depending on how much irritation you get behind your ears again, feel free to come back in about 2 weeks, okay? Awesome. All right. Thanks.